As the new world order changes every day, the BRICS alliance is taking over as the voice of the global south. Advocating for inclusivity, multilateralism and cooperation, BRICS has now expanded from its core members Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa to countries like the UAE and Indonesia. As per the IMF data, the BRICS nations account for over 40% of the global economy. So while this sounds impressive as an alliance, not everybody is a fan. Donald Trump, for one, seems to be having a major issue with the grouping. After the BRICS 2025 summit in Brazil, Trump announced a sweeping 10% tariffs on all BRICS countries with no exceptions.
You know, you have this little group called BRICS, it's fading out fast, but BRICS is, they wanted to try and take over the dollar, the dominance of the dollar and the standard of the dollar. And I said, anybody that's in the BRICS consortium of nations, we're going to tariff you 10%. And they had a meeting the following day, and almost nobody showed up. They said, no, they didn't want to be tariffed in there. It's amazing.
He has also gone out on a limb and targeted each of the BRICS permanent members individually. Trump has imposed 30% tariffs on South Africa and declined its invitation to attend the G20 summit this year.
Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
Brazil and India, on the other hand, have been slapped with tariffs as high as 50%. India, which was previously safe from the tariffs due to ongoing negotiations, is now under the gun for buying oil from Russia. However, it is loud and clear from the inside that this is an unfair move. The Ministry of External Affairs has said that India will take all necessary measures to safeguard its national interests. It has also pointed out US's double standards. But interestingly, there isn't enough bombarding from the White House against China yet. But as far as BRICS is concerned, China is showing signs of standing with its bloc for now. After tariffs were imposed on Brazil, China has agreed to open its market. Have a look at these posts. China's support for Brazil and Modi's meeting with Lula amid the tariff blitz displays strengthening of the BRICS nations, but the question still remains. Will China leverage its economic advantages to promote BRICS values? Will it take a stance for BRICS nations? And will BRICS turn into an anti-West group as Trump alleges? Well, despite these moves, actually BRICS officials still insist that the bloc isn't an anti-West alliance.
The debate about the West, is it BRICS an anti-West group? But I think that is somewhat far too stretched imagination. In my view, it's not so. BRICS as a group will evolve into an entity, a strong entity, finding its own solutions. And again, big countries within the BRICS will be able to find a balance and ensure that it doesn't go anti-West. It is not a fight on the global arena on the space. But what is so important today? Can member countries, particularly the BRICS full member countries, are able to find solutions for the global south? That is a challenge.
In fact, it can be argued that the growth of the bloc has really originated from the failures of the West.
Because the sources for the impetus of the growth of BRICS basically lie outside BRICS, and they actually originate from the failure of what the West was supposed to have provided for the global economic and the political community. Otherwise, why and how do you explain the fact that you have a G20 grouping, and within that you have a BRICS grouping, and within that you have a G7 grouping? And isn't it bizarre that you have a small group of 20 countries which was created to actually address global economic issues, but yet within that small group of 20, you still found the need to have two small subgroups who would sit on the table in the bigger room, but then would go their separate ways.
And what about India? Can it maintain strategic balance within the group at a time when its own interests appear at odds between Washington and Beijing? And will this bloc align and respond together, or will it resolve their own disputes separately? And even if the BRICS currently isn't anti-West, it remains to be seen if Trump is making sure that it does. That's it from us today. Stay tuned for the latest news and keep watching Stat News Global.